I'm going to show you how they manipulate you and why they don't like shows like ours. The Indian Express reports, selectively zoomed in video by Republican Twitter account shows Biden being lost on stage after speech.
Okay.
For what reason is the headline of this NewsGuard certified outlet saying selectively zoomed in video by Republican Twitter account? Why don't they just say video shows Biden being lost on stage after his speech?
They can't do it. I mean,
They have to prime it.
Right. It's not just
the well.
It's not just the reporters. People don't understand. Like, it's the editors. It's the people who write the headlines. You know, we used to be straight news stories, and everything is now an editorial.
Look at this. That NewsGuard is like, they actually put the logo in the story. Hey,
wild.
Look at that. Well, just real quick, I'm going to pull up this story from Timcast so you can all see that we here at Timcast IRL, we're an opinion show, but our home-based website, timcast.com, is also certified by NewsGuard. Okay, there. All right, Indian Express. Selectively zoomed in. They've poisoned the well because the reality is Joe Biden got lost on stage, and we will say it. And now they're saying, oh, he's saying it again. How do we get him to stop? It's simple, guys. Just call me and offer me the $100 million already. I'm kidding. They can't stop us. They can't. We don't break the rules. We try very much to make a family-friendly show, debunking the lies and exposing this manipulation. The most important thing here, and the one thing they really don't like, is that we are outright exposing how they're poisoning the well to make you see this and say, Republican equals fake news.
Yep.
No, the reality is there's a video outright show. Look, here you go. Let me play the video for you, and you tell me what you think. I'm not going to tell you what to think. Here's the video. There you go. Where's he going? What's he doing? Oh, other way? No. Oh, down? Oh.
Where do I go?
Mr. President, thank you.
Back?
I love that.
Part, yeah.
Momentous event.
Still
The word
stuck.
thank you
What's he
seems
doing?
Still
kind
stuck.
of inadequate.
What?
But for all the millions
What's he doing?
whose lives will be saved.
You're zoomed too far in, Tim. You gotta zoom out.
What is this?
He's not lost. It's like the camera doesn't know what to do.
Outstanding.
Yes, he's lost. Now look, he's not lost in the sense of like, where am I? What building is this? He's lost in the sense of he is confused and doesn't know what's going on or what to do. So when you come out and you're like, man, he looks lost, it could mean like lost in the jungle, or it could mean he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing right now.
Right.
And so they say it's manipulation, but look at his hands. Look when he walks away from the podium. What's he doing with his Mr. Burn hands?
He looks like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights where he's doing that interview. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, right.
But he's like, what is this?
Well, I think what's happening in that video, and I don't know for sure, but it seems to me that Joe Biden is sort of looking off camera to some handler in the back of the room. Like, what am I supposed to do next? You know, because they probably primed him for this. Like, oh, you're going to go up there, you can give a speech, and then you're supposed to sit down or whatever. And Joe Biden just forgot. I mean, that's probably what happened. He probably just doesn't know.
And
exactly.
And it's not the first time we've seen this. We've seen this like over and over and over and again. But what like the media wants to do is like what are you going to believe? You're going to believe Tim, or are you going to in your lying eyes? You're going to believe us?
Look at G Prime 85 in the responses. This is a man I would follow into the trenches.
He wouldn't know where to go. What the heck?
So I'll tell you why they're mad. I'll tell you why they're pissed. Because I had someone comment on my Facebook, and it was a moment of lucidity, a moment of honesty and clarity, and I was impressed. It was a leftist, and there were people saying things like, "You're a grifter," and this one person said, "The reason we hate you so much is because you're shattering consensus reality."
Yes.
And I went, "Yeah, okay, I agree with that."
That is an incredible compliment.
Yeah. But in their mind, they're like, everyone must agree no matter what. And so I love the idea. So now I'm working on a song called Consensus Reality, and or maybe a concept album or something. But I'm like, at least they're honest, but that actually explains what's going on. We see a video of Joe Biden with his hands confused, and he's like doddering about confused. We see videos of him reaching out his hand to shake someone's hand, but there's nobody there, and then he looks confused. We see him on stage in the debates before he even got elected with his teeth falling out.
His eyeball popped too.
His eyeball popped in blood.
Blood's up. Yeah.
So here's the issue. You know what I care about? I like Julian Assange. I care about knowing the truth and people having the ability to make decisions for themselves based on the best information they can get. I don't care what you do with your life. Just don't hurt other people. And that's the right way to go about things. Let me give you information to the best of my abilities that's accurate so you can survive. Hey, learn how to have chickens, learn how to have goats. Watch out. There might be a recession coming, all that good stuff. And then you do you, I do me. They don't like that because they think if you shatter confidence in Joe Biden during a time of war with Russia, you're putting our efforts at risk. If you come out and question the Ukrainian propaganda and don't toe the line 100%, because I don't trust Vladimir Putin either, but I'm not going to sit here and believe all the garbage lies they spew about Ukraine just so I march behind war. They're pissed off about it. So you know what the real issue is? It's shattering consensus reality, but it's because the consensus reality gets people to march in lockstep behind them as they go and blow up kids and wage war for pipelines and oil and conquest. I think that's it ultimately.
It's interesting. What we like to call it on our show is current thing enforcers. The current thing enforcers that really, and this isn't just the media. It's your run of the mill liberals on the internet now too. That they put the right flag at the right time on their Twitter bio. They're enforcing this sort of lockstep thing, Tim, that you're describing here, and then they've sort of made it their lives work to sort of attack people who challenge that. I don't know where that comes from, why people dedicate their lives to this, but it's fascinating, and it's only come in the last few years. And then, that DHS disinformation board, that Nina Jankowicz, remember they were going to create that?
The Ministry of Truth.
The government was going to tell us, what the truth was. They actually tried to institutionalize this current thing enforcer. Her job was basically going to be the Karen of the internet.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I'm going to see an armored truck pull up. Two guys in suits are going to walk out with a couple briefcases, and they're going to just pop them open. There's going to be a contract, and they'll be like, "We agree." I'm going to be like, "Oh no." Yeah, that's the thing. I can't. There's something akin to you guys know this, the economic hitman. What was it called? Tales. Luke, you know this one?
The Economic Hitman.
What was that?
It was the book was called Economic Hitman. I forgot his name exactly.
Confessions of an Economic.
Confessions of an Economic. Yep.
So what he said was basically, first they'll go to a country and say, "Hey, do X." Then the person says no. Then they come back and say, "Okay, if you do X, we'll give you Y." Then the person says no. Then they say, "Okay, we're invading you to remove you to get someone who will do it." So it's like we want oil or we want bananas or who knows what. There's something similar in the United States with everything. It's how it works. And it's not a conspiracy. It's just basic power structures. The first thing that happens is they'll be like, "Hey, you're doing a really great job. Why don't you come work for me?" You say no. Then they come back to you and say, "Why don't you come and work with this company for a large sum of money?" You say no. Then all of a sudden you're banned, stripped, kicked out, whatever. They shut you down. So I really do think what we're seeing now is after the banning of Alex Jones, it caused a massive ripple effect. And that had negative consequences. The rise of Parler, Gab, Minds, now Truth Social. And they're like, whoa, that was bad. Parler was really scary for them.
Yeah.
Because Parler was a meteoric rise. So they colluded to shut it down. That was overt. Like, we watched that happen. That's so crazy. It's right in your face. They're smart now. They've got to do it silently and slowly. The strategy now, I had a guy from a former Trump administration guy tell me this. He said the goal is, if conservative media is effective 60% of the time, that means over a long enough period of time, Democrats lose. Mm-hmm. So what they need to do is hobble the conservatives only by 11% to put them at 49 so that Democrats hit 50 and over time Democrats win. So they're avoiding now the hardcore overt banning. They're doing it very, very slowly to create a narrative like, oh, Crowder got a strike because he did this. Then they're going to wait. Then they're going to, every time they give him a strike, they're knocking him off YouTube for 2 weeks. And that is effective. A lot of people are saying stuff like, why don't you go to Rumble? Well, Rumble's great, but I'll tell you this. Their audience is very, very much one demographic. YouTube has Gen Z. That's why YouTube is very much like, we got to shut this stuff down. That's the game they're playing. Slow attrition.
Yeah. Confessions by an Economic Hitman, a great book by John Perkins. And in the book, he detailed exactly how the IMF, the World Bank, were working with U.S. intel agencies to extort, coerce, and manipulate developing countries for the benefit of an unaccountable ruling corporate banking elite. So he talks about invested interests of governments, not working for the benefit of the people, but working for the benefit of the people who put them in charge. And that, of course, are the special interests and the big powers that, of course, are there behind the scenes. And, of course, these same powers are obviously doing the same thing, understanding that now on the internet, people have a lot of power. People have a lot of influence. They want that power. They want all of that influence. And they're going to do anything and everything just to make sure that they have a monopoly on it.
And then you see other countries see that model and put it into effect themselves, like China with Belt and Road. They're like, huh.
Well, it's kind of like the mafia. It's kind of like the mafia, Tim, to your point of like, how are they changing their strategy in this? It's not just the outright bans. It's more like the mafia walking into your restaurant and saying, wow, nice place you got here. Be shame if anything would have happened to it.
Yeah, that's right.
know?
I couldn't help but notice you're selling that chicken. I sell chicken too. Maybe you should sell beef. And you're like, I don't want to sell beef. Okay. And then he pulls out the crowbar and says, I'm gonna say it again. Maybe you should sell the beef. And then you're like, it's like, get in line and sell which one, what we want you to sell, or else.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny though, and I don't know your guys' backgrounds. Like, where do you guys come from? What's your background?
I'm from Indianapolis originally. Love the Midwest.
What about you?
Born in Denver, raised in the South, North Carolina.
But you guys, do you come from silver spoon families and trust funds and Ivy Leagues and all that stuff?
Nope.
No, my family's.
I'm very
pretty
proud to be a state college grad and have Ivy Leaguers work for me.
Oh no, I went to IU. Go Hoosiers.
Good school.
So
school.
I think that's like that kind of hits the nail on the head with the hammer. Why they don't like us for the most part. Mm-hmm. So over the summer we had a total of I think like 24 billboards. 24. I shouldn't say billboards, but on 3 separate billboards. 24 ads in Times Square for a bunch of our projects. We got a big old Michael Malice, Luke Rudkowski, Ian Crossland, me up on these massive billboards. I had a big vinyl one. And it really triggered a lot of these people to see us in their space, like right above the ABC building. But I bring this up because I asked Luke, like, what do your parents think? Did they ever think that you running and chasing after a Rothschild would result in him getting a billboard in Times Square 95 feet tall? And that's kind of the point. He's not supposed to. Mm-hmm. The Rothschilds, I mean, who else? Kissinger,
yep.
Ben Bernanke, these powerful elites are like, this guy, this salt of the earth dude challenging me in the things I do is not someone who's supposed to be standing next to me on top of the mountain. And at some point, for some reason, they lost control, and here we are. And now they're like, uh-oh.
And that's the thing is there is a class that thrives on predictability. That it absolutely, for them to maintain what they have. I mean, you see right now, it's become crystal clear that there is absolutely an academic, coastal, university class of individuals who demand that the world exist in the way that they want. And if you have any sort of a viewpoint which opposes that, you're a bigot, you need to be silenced, you're a danger, you're a domestic terrorist. And an extension of this is whenever they see something that did not go how they planned and doesn't ensure that the boat is not rocked, I mean, goes right back to Trump getting elected, it just outrages them. And seeing the swing back, like the amount of force that they brought to bear against Trump is unprecedented. When a former president can get kicked off of social media, I mean, that's got to be stunning.
I mean, they decided because Hillary Clinton lost an election, they would break the internet or try to. I mean, that was the temper tantrum that they threw after 2016.
Are y'all familiar with dead internet theory?
No.
I think it's probably partially true to a certain degree. It's the idea that around 2016, the internet slowly transformed into a completely astroturfed platform where very few real people actually exist. And I think that's probably true. I think there's probably verified individuals. Then the reason I think it's probably true is because whenever I go to events, mm-hmm. I meet people, regular people, and they're just like, oh, I'm banned from Twitter, so I can't follow you. And I'm like, really? Why? What happened? Like, I don't know. I had 300 followers and they just banned me. And I'm like, really? I'm wondering if at some point there was a real concern with regular people being able to organize online. Particularly, you look at the Arab Spring, then Trump's victor, and they went, uh-oh, it can happen here?
Yeah.
So I think to a certain degree...
It's the NPC internet. They've created the NPC internet.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why when Elon Musk was like, I'm going to buy Twitter, all of the right-wing voices and libertarian, moderate type saw huge gains.
Yeah.
And all the left and celebrities dropped dramatically. That was the fake reality. These leftist personalities, these leftist politicians and celebrities had fake followers because that was the approved consensus reality. And when they thought Elon Musk was coming in, they panicked, and then something got reversed overnight.
Yeah, it's like when your parents going to come home, you got to clean your room really, really quickly.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.